let's take a live look outside right now. This is from our Horsetooth Reservoir camera. Yeah, this morning.
You're right. You're right.
It took me a second. Look at all this fog that has come in. We know that rain is starting this morning and snow up in the high country. Thanks for joining us. I'm Corey Rose.
And I'm Jordan Chavez. Good morning, everybody. It's what I call a Tim Burton kind of morning with all that fog out there. Let's get a check of that forecast now with senior meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Chris, that rain now officially starting in the metro area as well.
Yeah, we're just starting to see those first slick spots out there on the roads here outside the boss's office. That first little bit of mist, light rain falling for us in the Denver area. Temperatures upper 40s, so a cool, raw start to our Tuesday, May the 6th here across eastern Colorado. Showers heaviest for us here across southern Colorado. Seeing some very steady rain from Huerfano County on north into Pueblo County, so Walsenburg on north to Pueblo. That's where we're seeing that steadiest, heaviest rain right now. It's still having a bit of a tough time moving over the Palmer Divide, but notice this, within the last hour, starting to see that wind direction coming out of the east, and that is what is giving us some more of that rain right now and some of that mountain snow. And that's all as all this moisture starts to pinwheel its way on up into the north and east. And the result will be a lot of rain for us in Denver later on today. Low 50s, cloudy, rainy, raw day, one of those indoor sorts of days. About a ½ inch to an inch of rain for us in the metro area, but then the foothills, 4 to 12 inches of snow at or above 7,500 feet in elevation, and 1 to 2 feet of snow for the mountains at or above pass level. So we'll have a lot of details on a very busy forecast for you in the next few minutes. I want to say things over to Erica now for looking. I want to say things over to Brianna now for a check of what we're seeing there in the foothills. And Brianna, there in Evergreen, we do have right now a little bit of rain, but later today that will flip over to snow. And that could lead to some real concerns there with all those leaves coming out behind you there on those trees.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Good morning, Chris. You know, a lot has changed in the last hour or so since we've been here. Of course, we saw no rain when we arrived here around 5 a.m. Now we're seeing a little bit of a sprinkle out here. And like you've mentioned, we've heard it. Where the rain's starting, but then we're getting that heavy wet snow here in parts of Colorado, which can be dangerous, especially with these tree branches and that heavy wet snow. So we're going to also see some power lines that are probably going to be down, and that's going to include some power outages. And I don't know if you guys can hear it, but we are hearing those raindrops getting a little bit tougher out here. So this morning you should look around your property and prepare. So here are a few tips. Check to make sure the tree is safe and clear of all utility lines prior to removing snow. Do not attempt to shake snow off a tree if a utility line is going through its branches or is within contact distance. Now, if the tree is clear of utility lines, use a broom to remove as much snow as possible from the branches by brushing it off and gently shaking it. Avoid large, rapid movements as this could cause a limb to break, and do not attempt to climb a tree or use a ladder to reach higher limbs. Now, if it appears that the tree has fallen on top of the power line, of course, do not touch it. Let Excel crews come out here. We're still waiting for them to see how they're staffing up when a weather event like this is coming here to parts of Colorado. Of course, we're going to keep you updated once we hear back from Excel. For now, I'm live here in Evergreen. Brianna Fernandez for 9 News.
Brianna, thank you so much. Right now, we do want to show you the traffic impact drive at 7:04 this morning on your Tuesday. This is a live look at I-25 and 84th Avenue. Really not seeing any heavy southbound delays out here, which is nice to be able to see. Often we would begin to see some backups there. Southbound 225 Parker Road. Normally at this time of the morning, all the way back here, we're already seeing a sea of brake lights and we're moving really slow. We're seeing volume pick up, but we're really not seeing the congestion that's typical for this time of the morning. So I'd say we're a little bit more on the quieter side today. Let's take you over to our map. We can see that reflected out here as well. Only a 4-minute slowdown on southbound 225. That backup just past Parker Road. Let's just say between Parker Road and Yosemite Street. Now, I do want to point out a slowdown we're seeing coming into Centennial this morning. Northbound I-25 from 470. We're going to look at that drive time in a quick moment, but about a 4 or 5 minute slowdown on westbound I-70 across town between E470 and 76. 10-minute backup, though, on northbound I-25 as you get ready to travel between C470 and Centennial. That's the slowest for you for your DTC to downtown drive. Really no significant delays, though, right now on the same for that same drive southbound.
All right, Erica, thank you. In just 3 hours, a Fort Carson soldier accused of distributing cocaine while running security for an underground nightclub in Colorado Springs is set to be in federal court. Staff Sergeant Juan Arona Rodriguez was arrested last Wednesday. Court records say that he owned Immortal Security, the company working at the underground club, which was raided last weekend. He was among 17 active duty soldiers at the club. Agents believe that his team was tied to drug activity, and they say Arona Rodriguez sold cocaine near his home and discussed gun sales in texts. Arona Rodriguez is scheduled to be in federal court in Denver at 10 o'clock this morning, so a little less than 3 hours right now. We will have a crew at the courthouse to find out what happens and update you later today.
The Aurora City Council is putting new restrictions on public comment at their meetings. Last night, they passed a resolution only allowing one person at a time at the podium. The exceptions are for a child, someone who needs an interpreter, or someone who has a physical disability. The resolution follows months of protests at City Council meetings by people upset over the death of Kylan Lewis at the hands of Aurora police.
There is no reason whatsoever that the people in our community should not be able to show each other support in the same way that elected officials choose to do.
But it is a safety issue because although we have police officers in the chamber, they're now having to watch whatever, 10, 15, 20 people at the podium versus the one person and watching the audience.
The City Council also passed a resolution scrapping a notice of 24 hours for council members who appear virtually. Those resolutions passed by a vote of 6-4.
New this morning, the House passed legislation that would direct new resources to public safety and law enforcement training, recruitment, and retention. This bill implements Proposition 130 that was approved by voters in November. Prop 130 directs $350 million to fund public safety. It also requires the state to provide a one-time $1 million death benefit to the family of an officer killed in the line of duty.
Today, state lawmakers in the House are set to debate a bill that could establish penalties for using AI to create sexually explicit images. This was first reported by our partners at the Denver Gazette. The bill unanimously passed the Senate last week. It creates a cause of action against someone who publishes or threatens to publish an AI-generated intimate image of someone without their consent. It also updates the state's definition of sexually exploitative material to include AI-generated child pornography.
House Democrats have advanced a bill making it easier for workers to unionize in Colorado. This would eliminate a decades-old requirement that forces workers to vote twice before forming a union and deducting dues. One more vote in the House, and it goes to the governor, who is expected to veto this. Right now, Republicans are backing the governor, and Dems are hoping for a change of heart.
The latest effort by Colorado's Democrats to challenge TABOR, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights, will not make it through the legislature this year. TABOR restricts government spending. It requires funds when the state collects more revenue than allowed. It also requires a vote on all tax increases. Democratic legislators blame TABOR for $1 billion in budget cuts this year because of the limitation on how much the state can keep and spend. An effort by Democrats to have the state file a lawsuit to deem TABOR unconstitutional did not get the necessary votes to have a chance to pass the legislature before tomorrow's last day. Coming up at 7:40, our 9 News legal expert joins us live in studio to discuss some of the major bills in this session.